This channel is sponsored by Galactic Toys. If you're looking to buy model kits or hobby supplies, check them out with the link down in the description. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Gunpla review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the high-grade mechanics 1/550th scale GP03 Dendrobium. So for those of you who don't already know, the RX-78 GP03 Gundam Dendrobium is a mobile armor first featured in the 1991 OVA Mobile Suit Gundam 0083 Stardust memory. Now it's made up of two different units, the Stamen, which is the mobile suit that pilots the Dendrobium, and the Orcus unit, which is everything else. Now this kit is from 2001, so it is quite old, but despite its age, it's actually not that bad. Now it's far from perfect and it does have a few flaws, which we'll go over later. However, despite its age and despite some flaws here and there, I still like this kit. As far as visuals go, proportionally, this thing looks great, and surprisingly, for such an old kit, there's actually a lot of surface detail. There's panel lines to be filled in everywhere on this kit, which is really nice to see on something like this. There are a few color inaccuracies that could be fixed up with some paint since we don't get any color correcting stickers with this kit. I'll point those out in a minute though. But for now, let's start off our more in-depth look of this kit by taking a look at some of the seam lines. Now, for the most part, this kit really doesn't have too many seam lines, but there are a couple, so I'll point them out right now. We get a couple running down the length of these fins in the thruster section towards the rear, and we get a huge nasty one that runs down the entire length of the giant beam cannon. Other than that though, everything else is basically fine. As for color inaccuracies, the insides of these gray thrusters on the back are supposed to be red, so if you want to paint those, you can fix that yourself. And the inside of the eye field generator right here is supposed to be a dark gray. Again, no, we don't get color correcting stickers to fix any of this. This is how it comes out of the box. Also, if you open up the top segments here, you'll see that while they're supposed to be dark gray on the inside, they're still just this light grayish white. Again, if you want this to be color accurate, you are going to have to paint this. One last thing I will say overall is that this kit really is mostly one solid color. There's barely any accent colors, any other dark grays aside from what you see on the thruster and the parts connecting the eye field generator and the large beam cannon to the main body. So if you really want to break up that color and bring out that detail, you really should panel line this thing. So now let's quickly take a look at the size comparison, and the size is another thing that I do like about this kit. As I said earlier, this is a 1/550th scale kit. Normally you see high grades in a 1/144th scale, and we do have a 1/144th scale Dendrobium. The problem with that kit though is that that kit is like 3 feet long. So this kit is great for people who are fans of the Dendrobium but want a more manageable size kit that they could actually fit on a shelf. Anyways, here's the high grade 1/550th scale Dendrobium next to the high grade Justice Gundam, Master grade Gym Sniper 2, an Amiibo, Pachimari, and next to my coffee cup. So as you can see, this thing is a pretty good size. It's not huge, but it's not very small either. Despite being 1/550th scale, this thing still has a pretty decent presence. So now we've talked about that, let's move on to the kit's accessories. So here's the Dendrobium with everything that it comes with, and we can see some actually pretty interesting things here. We get a pair of alternate sub-arms for holding the beam sabers. We get not only a tiny 1/550th scale Stamen, but we also get a tiny Gerbera Tetra as well. 2 beam saber handles and 2 unpainted beam sabers, and we get a handful of alternate parts here. I'll explain all of these in a little bit. Alright, so first let's take a look at the alternate sub-arms. These are supposed to extend from the bottom of the Dendrobium to wield those giant beam sabers. However, a mechanic allowing these arms to actually slide out from their resting position may have been a little bit ahead of its time for a kit from 2001. Not to mention the smaller scale of the kit, which could have led to some more design restrictions as well. In order to have the extended sub-arms equipped onto the Dendrobium, what you have to do is flip it over to its underside, slide this up and take it out, and replace it with the alternate sub-arms if you like. This is a bit of a recurring theme in this kit in the sense that the parts that you think should move have more of just a parts forming transformation rather than articulation. Now here's what the Dendrobium will look like with both of the sub-arms extended. Our next accessory is the giant beam saber. This may look like a normal high-grade beam saber, but in relation to the scale, this thing is massive. It comes unpainted, so if you want it to be that bright pink, you're going to have to paint it yourself. If you have the extended sub-arms equipped, you can flip this tab open right here, plug that beam saber in just like so, and close it down. And this is what it will look like with the beam saber in the hand. Of course, the sub-arms can also hold the beam saber handles without the beams. Just flip them open and the beam saber handle can slot into a hole right in the back of them. Up next, we have the 1/550th scale GP03 Stamen unit. This thing is, as you can see, very tiny, and it's also only in one color, so if you'd like it to be color accurate, you are going to have to do a bit of a paint job on this thing. It is not articulated at all, and it is stuck in this laying down position position because it's meant to be housed inside of the Orcus unit in its little cockpit area. In order to fit the Stamen into the Orcus, all you have to do is remove these top panels, flip this down, slide the Stamen in, and put everything back. And as you can see, he is tucked away inside there very snugly. Next up we have the also very tiny 1/550th scale Gerbera Tetra. This is also in one singular color and features no articulation. I'm honestly very impressed by this thing because considering how small it is, the detail on this thing is actually very great. Again, if you want it to be the proper colors, you're going to have to paint it yourself. And just in case you guys want a quick size comparison, there is the 1/550th Stamen and Gerbera right next to a 1/144th scale high grade. This shows really just how small these figures are and how massive a 1/144th scale Dendrobium would be compared to this. Now both of these miniature mobile suits do require glue to assemble, they are not snap fit. I personally used quick setting Tamiya extra thin cement and it worked super well. If you plan on using this at home to assemble these, make sure to do it in a well ventilated area because the fumes from the plastic cement are toxic. Thankfully nothing else on the kit needs to be glued, just these small figures. Last but not least we have our small handful of option parts. This piece in particular covers the hole on the bottom of the Dendrobium where the stand plugs into. So if for whatever reason you don't want your Dendrobium to be able to stand up on its own, just unplug the stand from the hole and put the cover in place. The next piece we have is an alternate I-field generator cover. This one does not include the turbines, so I would assume this represents the I-field generator in a more idle state. Just pop the old one off, put the new one on, and you're good to go. The very last piece we have here is this little handle thing. This is a handle that allows the Stamen to reach the large beam cannon from the cockpit. Pop the cover piece out, put it onto the handle, and put the handle back in like so. And that just about does it for all of the accessories that come with this kit. Now, you might be asking yourself, how's the articulation on this thing? Well, there's not really that much. Of course, we have the sub-arms, which can move a little bit. They have a ball joint here, they have a bend here, and the hand, claw things at the end of the sub-arms, these can close and open. Without the sub-arms though, in terms of articulation, the only thing you're really going to get is that. You might be thinking to yourself, well, shouldn't those front panels flip open? And the answer is yes, but they don't. In order to have these hatches displayed in an open state, you have to do another bit of parts forming. Start by removing the panels from the Dendrobium, and stored underneath the stand here we have these tiny little brackets which will allow us to mount the panels in an open position. Just pop them off like that, and like yeah, I really can't recommend that you mess around with this feature too much. I had to change it from open to close multiple times throughout the video, and I've broken at least 2 or 3 of the brackets at this point. Your best bet is to decide how you want it displayed beforehand, build it like that, and keep it there. Don't mess around with it, you're probably going to break the brackets like I did. Anyways, plug in the brackets, and then put the hatches on there, and that is how you display it in an open mode. Alright, so I believe that's going to just about do it for the review of the high-grade mechanics 1/550th scale GP03 Dendrobium. Overall, it's far from perfect, but I do still like this kit. Like I said earlier, this kit is a great option for people who want a Dendrobium but don't necessarily have space for a gigantic kit. And it'll look even better if you take advantage of all that surface detail and panel line it. Of course, make sure you have some type of glue to assemble the small figures, but if you don't really care about those, you can always just snap the Dendrobium together. No glue required at all. I had a decent time building the kit and I'm sure you will too. For a kit as old as this, yes, it does show its age in some aspects, but overall it's a really solid and fun build. It's a very simple build with very simple engineering and the result is great. Overall, yes, I would recommend this to people. Is it the best kit ever? No, but is it a fun kit? Yes. Definitely a good pickup for people who are looking to have a Dendrobium and not break the bank or have to put up a new shelf just to make room for it. And of course, if you want one for yourself or if you want any kit like it, why not pick it up from Galactic Toys? You can visit their website from the link down in the description. Anyways guys, that's going to do it from me for today. I hope you enjoyed the review, and if you did, please make sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing to the channel. If you're new to the hobby, I just put out a comprehensive beginner's guide to everything you need to know about Gunpla. If you want to watch that, the link will be also down in the description. Also, if you'd like to follow me over on Twitter, you can do so at UC Gundam. Last but not least, you can join my community Discord with the link down in the description. Alright, that's going to do it for our video today. If you stuck around this long, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, this has been UC Gundam, signing out.